ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Today we will be talking about a grub configuration, a so-called multiboot configuration. So we have basically more than one operating system, and we will get a menu at the start when booting the PC which operating system to boot from. So in my configuration I have a few disks in here. So let me narrow that down a bit. Okay, so you can see I have a def SDA and a def SDB. Those are both 120 gigabytes or 111 gigabyte SSDs. So on the first one there is Qubes installed, and on the second there is Windows installed. My BIOS is set to boot from def SDA, and on def SDA I want to edit the bootloader, which is grub, and add a second partition, which is Windows. But grub uses a different naming convention than the def SDA SDB, and I don't know any other way than to determine the right way or the right disk number by booting into the grub menu. And that is what I'm going to do next. So I will hit the reboot and go directly into the grub menu. But first I want to take a little look at the BIOS, how it's set up. Okay, so we booted into the BIOS, and inside the BIOS, if I go to the boot section, so every BIOS is going to look different, but they almost every BIOS has a boot section, and in there you will find some kind of option to switch between the boot mode. For me, I can switch between legacy and UEFI here, or I can simply set it to dual, so my mainboard will detect it. If you are uncertain or things are not going to work, go to legacy, and that is more likely going to work than the UEFI. So I'm going to select dual, and my hard disk I'm going to select to boot from the Samsung 840, which is the one basically the SDA, and on there I have Qubes installed. Okay, so the boot priority is basically defined, and now I can save changes and reset. So this time we are going to enter the grub shell, and you simply move the up or down arrow keys here to select between the choices. At your stage you will not have a Windows 7 entry here, but we will fix that later on. For now we select the Qubes and press the E on the keyboard to edit, and in here we can find the configuration settings for Qubes and how to start it, and at the bottom you can read to press Control X to start that configuration or Control C for a command prompt. So we're going to press Control C, and in here we can use the ls to list all the available options, and then you simply start listing one by one. Like that. And then we go for MS-DOS 2. Hold on, MS-DOS 2. Then we continue with disk HD1. And then we go to HD1 MS-DOS 1. And there we have a winner. So in here you can see the Windows files. You can see a program files folder. You can see a temp folder and a Windows folder. So a typical Windows layout. And what we need is the boot manager file, which is actually on there as well. So this will be our Windows partition. So we have to remember, for grub we need to remember HD1 and MS-DOS 1. It might be different at your setup, so write down whatever it is right now. And then we simply continue with the reboot, and we do not type exit. We simply press the escape key and press it one more time, the escape key, and now we can simply boot off Qubes. Okay, so we are back in Qubes, and now I'm going to open the grub etc grub d 40 underscore custom, and this part is already in there, and you have to add this part in there. So when updating the grub config by using grub2 mkconfig, this part will be inserted into the grub file, and that way we will know where to boot from. And in here we have to enter the HD1, MS-DOS1. That's basically the numbers we found out by using the grub shell. And simply add a chain loader +1 in there as well. Then you save the file by using Ctrl X. And then we also have to regenerate the grub config file. And now we can even take a look inside the grub config file and search for Windows 7. And you can see that now the menu entry part has been copied over here. So that's the part of 40 custom. And now all that's left to be done is to reboot one more time and test if it works. So again, we are booting from the first SSD. And now you should also see the Windows 7 entry down here. And when selecting it, we will continue by booting the Windows. So if you have any further questions or like that, just leave a comment and talk to you soon.